All right, and we are live. Welcome, DoorGrow hackers, to the DoorGrow Show. If you are a property management entrepreneur that wants to add doors, make a difference, increase revenue, help others, impact lives, and you are interested in growing your business and life, and you are open to doing things a bit differently, then you are a DoorGrow hacker. DoorGrow hackers love the opportunities, daily variety, unique challenges, and freedom that property management brings. Many in real estate think you're crazy for doing it. You think they're crazy for not, because you realize that property management is the ultimate high trust gateway to real estate deals, relationships, and residual income. At DoorGrow, we are on a mission to transform property management businesses and their owners. We want to expand the industry, transform it, eliminate the BS, build awareness, change the perception of it, expand the market, help the best property managers win. I'm your host, property management growth expert, Jason Hole, the founder and CEO of DoorGrow. Now, let's get into the show. I am hanging out with a special guest today. My guest is Stephen Arifin, and he is with a company called the ClosingDocs. Stephen, how are you today?
Good, Jason. How are you?
Good, good. I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for being here on the show. And so, Stephen, maybe you could, before we get started, give us a little bit of background on you. Tell us a little bit about you, maybe your sort of entrepreneurial journey, your adventures here into, and what led you maybe to the ClosingDocs.
Sure. Yeah. So first thing, I'm a tech guy. I've always been around technology and computers growing up. My dad was a programmer and started his own banking software company. So I was always around entrepreneurship and technology. Even at a young age, I would always try to solve problems with technology. For example, in kindergarten, all my classmates were really upset when the school installed a website blocker that prevented them from playing their online games. And I found an opportunity.
Where this is going.
Yeah, I created my own website and hosted all of my classmates' favorite games so that they could play at school. And of course, I took the nominal donation and made a little cash. I studied software engineering in college and loved building apps. I was in a fraternity and we were having some major issues collecting and organizing our finances. So a buddy and I built a better invoicing system, launched the company into our fraternity, and helped streamline their finances. That was probably my first real entrepreneurship experience. Okay. My first job out of school was at Microsoft, where I worked as a full stack web developer. It was a small team and taught me solid fundamentals of how to build a web application from scratch. I considered myself really lucky to be in a team with so many talented engineers. But at Microsoft, I really missed my entrepreneurial drive. So while I was working there, I began investigating broken industries. I started with industries that had many paper and pencil processes and were ripe for technological innovation. An obvious contender was the mortgage industry, actually. And I started finding gaps where technology could save time and money. After talking to a few dozen lenders, it was clear there was a breakdown in the loan application process, specifically their proof of income. Why were they taking screenshots of pay stubs and W-2s? In 2017, and even today, why are loan officers forced to review these data sources in so many different formats? It's cumbersome, it's time consuming, it invites human error and judgment, and honestly, it's just downright painful. There had to be a better way, and thus the ClosingDocs was born to provide automated income verification. So I started in the lending industry and I really tried to help verify their applicants' income, but my lack of industry knowledge made it really difficult to sell. After speaking with folks in the real estate industry, I learned about similar problems in the property management space, a far less regulated industry and one that is even more disaggregated than the lending universe. So at this time, it sort of made sense for me to combine forces with someone familiar with the startup landscape and someone familiar with starting and operating businesses, and also who had direct industry knowledge. The ClosingDocs' other founder and my partner, Mark Seebig, has started a handful of companies, successfully raised venture capital, and also happens to have deep real estate industry knowledge, including owning a property management company himself. So together, along with my technical knowledge, we combined our assets and knowledge and created what the ClosingDocs is today.
Cool. So explain, what is the ClosingDocs today?
Sure. So we provide automated income verification. So essentially a modern way to help applicants prove their net income. And here's how it works. With the applicant's permission, we can obtain a year's worth of deposit history directly from their bank and share a report that illustrates an applicant's net income. So why are we reporting net income? Because it is the best indicator of an applicant's ability to pay rent going forward. The money going into the applicant's bank account is the money that will be used to pay rent. So our message to property managers is clear. We'll provide the info you need to make the decisions you can defend instantly. So often, applicants provide incomplete information, and whatever info they do share, it comes from so many different formats, from so many different sources. At the ClosingDocs, we streamlined the process significantly. Based on our client usage data, we are seeing time spent from applicant screenings fall by as much as 30%. That means a 3-hour screening timeline turns into 2 hours. And we're saving our clients real money. So if you do the math, that's one full-time employee for a property management firm seeing like around 2,000 properties. It's honestly fun for us to be on the phone with our customers and have them jumping for joy because they're super excited we've helped them simplify and expedite their workload. So in essence, the ClosingDocs is standardized information delivered right into your inbox or pushed directly into your property management software system through our integration. We help people close more deals faster.
All right, cool. That sounded very pitchy, but it sounds cool. All right, so tell me which software does your software integrate with then
Sure.
that some of my listeners might be familiar with? A lot of them are using AppFolio, they're using Propertyware, they're using Rent Manager, they're using Buildium, some of these kind of tools as their back office.
Right. We've developed a number of integrations with Buildium, AppFolio, OnSite, Yardi. Those are like many of the popular property management software systems out there, and we're continuing to grow that list. We don't ask or expect our clients to change their software, or stop using what they love or what they're used to. So, right. So we know also property managers hate multiple logins and switching between apps. So we've made it as easy as possible for them to use our income screenings. And if they want, we also created an online rental application as well.
Okay, cool. So they're going through this process of using your application probably instead of maybe what's built into their software. And this is helping to gather all the documentation or documents, the ClosingDocs that they might need in order to verify their net income. So, and then maybe what happens next in this process, and how easy is it for them to use the software and figure out whether somebody is a viable candidate for this particular property?
Right. So essentially, there's two different entry points that property managers can use our tools. One is if they are a firm with around 100 doors, usually they can use our standalone web service. So essentially they type in the applicant's email and it sends the applicant an email to our site. And essentially the applicant authorizes their bank, and that authorizes us to pull all the information needed to aggregate metrics like net income, yearly net income, monthly net income. And we also count non-recurring deposits. So like bonuses and W-2 tax returns. So once that information comes in, the applicant gets a chance to review the information so that we remain FCRA compliant, and they know the information that's being shared with their property manager. And then they just click a button. And what we do is we print an income report and we deliver that directly to the property manager's email. So that's the first way we do it. The second way is that for bigger property management firms around like 1,000 doors, we actually integrated our income verification directly into our online rental application. So we can we have our online rental app, and it has different controls. So like you can all the information that the property management firm requires, we can require it so the applicant doesn't skip it. And the income verification is built into the rental app. So when the rental app is submitted, the property manager receives the rental application along with our income report. So it's all in one combined package. So that sort of helps like the back and forth issue that property managers so often get into, where the applicant doesn't submit all the necessary information and they have to go hound the applicant to, hey, can you submit this pay stub? It's from 2 years ago. So we save a lot of property managers' time that way.
Okay, great. Yeah, imagine even one piece of back and forth is costing probably sometimes maybe even a day, sometimes 10, 15, 20 minutes minimum. And so if there's pieces that are, over and over again that are missing, they're working on one application, this adds up. You have, 5 properties that are vacant that you're working on right now, 10 properties that you're vacant working on right now, your staff are going to be really busy. And it feels like that's such an essential, critical thing that has to be done to move these things forward, to get things rented. But what you're saying is a lot of it could be automated.
Right. And when that applicant is kind of in that, like you're trying to get more information about him, that unit is like in a limbo state, right? It's not really on the market. It's not really off the market. So yeah, we're trying to prevent stuff like that.
And the renter gets frustrated. Everyone's been in a situation where you have to keep providing more information. They keep asking for more information, and it just starts to get frustrating. And I'm sure there's instances where they just decide to move on to something that's easier.
Right. So like one of the side consequences from starting this company, the property managers love us, right? But their customers, their applicants actually love us as well, because they get approved faster. It's super easy and they save a bunch of time. So really everybody wins.
Okay. I mean, ultimately, that's why every business exists, is to create some sort of win-win, maybe win, right? Yeah. So you're solving a problem, you're collapsing the time. What are some of the other benefits? Why should property managers pay attention to this instead of just doing what they've been doing and following the status quo?
Right. So we receive our information directly from the banks. We support about 15,000 banks, which is about 99.9% of all the banks in the United States. So we get trustworthy data, we get better data. And since the information is digitized, we're also able to produce an approval recommendation. So we use 2.5 times the net income to rent ratio. So if the applicant makes 2.5 times more than the unit's rent, then we give a thumbs up. And if they don't, we give them a thumbs down. So property managers can make a decision really easily. It's like, hey, like their applicant qualifies. Or if he doesn't qualify, we'll give all the details of the transaction history and deposit history. So, they can kind of drill down and see a little bit more details for applicants on the cusp.
Okay. So, all right. So they'll be able to have a little bit of information as to why they maybe didn't qualify, that sort of thing. Okay. Right. So I think another issue here or benefit to any piece of technology is that there's going to be an operational cost savings, right? So if you have a staff member that's manually doing this, they're doing phone calls, they're texting, they're emailing saying, hey, we need this piece. They're trying to get stuff out of an email. They're trying to store documents in a certain way. They're asking people to send things, send me a picture of this, whatever. Go into your bank and download these bank statements and send them to us. Right. So the challenge is you're going to be paying somebody to spend the time to do this, somebody on your team.
Right.
And people are expensive. You're spending, for a decent team member, probably anywhere from $15 to $30 an hour. And if you have hundreds of properties that you're dealing with, vacant properties, you're going to be spending hours and hours of money towards something that could easily be handled by technology. So help those listening understand, if you will, maybe a little bit about the cost of the software. Just give them maybe a ballpark, or help them understand if this is something even feasible for them to be doing in their business.
Sure. Yeah. So our pricing is super simple. It's $10 per screening. There's no implementation cost. There's no sign up cost. There's no minimum fees. It's just $10 per screening. And like the time that you save, especially when we have clients like with a lot of doors and there's just a lot of people, like applicants, especially during busy season, like the summer season when applicants are just like piling in by the truckload, each minute counts, right? And each mental step that you can skip, it all adds up. So yeah, it's really great. We have a lot of clients saying like, man, we love your software.
Okay, and this $10 application, sort of fee, they're probably passing on to the renters, I would imagine.
So we actually have, we support both the property manager or the applicant can pay. And we have clients that have both, that do both workflows. It's up to it's a business decision up to your part, so.
Okay, so they can do it either way. They can build it into as part of their application process. Most property managers are going to have some other steps besides just income verification as part of their application process that they need to take them through anyway.
Right.
So this would be one piece of that puzzle. This would be the income verification portion, just to make the screening even more solid. Okay, so, and I would imagine the financial aspect is probably one of the #1 indicators as to whether they're going to be able to afford it and pay it. They're going to be looking at things like credit. They're going to be looking at things, other things. But bottom line, if they don't have the funds available to pay, the likelihood of them making rent every month is going to be pretty slim, right? So, okay. So what are some of the frequently asked questions that some of the people may ask when they're trying to, when they're looking at your software, they're looking at your solution? What are some of the most common questions that property managers would probably be curious to hear about here on the DoorGrow Show?
Yeah. So something with our income screening is that it requires the applicant's permission and the applicant's involvement. So it's not like a hard inquiry on credit where you can just type in a social security number and then they automatically pull credit without the applicant's involvement. Like we need the applicant to authorize their bank. So that's how we remain FCRA compliant. So our data shows actually that we have around a 97% compliance rate, which is honestly awesome. But we do have some applicants, some in the older generation that is a little unfamiliar with technology and they get a little worried when authorizing the bank. We're FCRA compliant. We have the same security protocols as banks, and we never see any of the sensitive credentials. But if applicants obviously sometimes feel worried about that. So whenever we incorporate our income verification in an online rental app, we give the option to go the route that we've all come and known by uploading bank statements and pay stubs. So we give that option. But like I said, 97% of the applicants go for the more streamlined option, and because it just saves so much time.
Okay, so if they get a conspiracy theorist grandpa that's been living in a basement and he's freaking out wearing his tinfoil hat and he's worried about giving his password through your software tool, he can still do things the old school way if the property manager is willing to tolerate it, right? Right.
And if you think about it, they're still kind of uploading all of the sensitive information. They're uploading their bank statement, their pay stubs,
It's less secure, let's be honest.
Thing, right? It's sort of perception, so.
Yeah. Okay, got it. Yeah, if they're sending this stuff through email, that's even more ridiculous since email's open and passes through multiple servers. All right, so but we understand that as nerds, they don't, and that's okay. We need to help out our less technological brothers and sisters out there. So, so Stephen, I'm excited to hear about your tool. I hope people will check it out. How can people get in touch with you or with the ClosingDocs and learn more?
Sure. So our website, theclosingdocs.com, it's got a lot of great information and also has a contact form. You can get in contact with our team. And you can also email me at steven@theclosingdocs.com. If you sign up at theclosingdocs.com on our site, you get 3 free screenings to kind of try out our tool. We're pretty confident that you'll be hooked by the first screening, but it'll give you a chance to kind of try out this new workflow, because in the end, it is a new workflow, right? And as a business, you kind of need to adjust your business processes to accommodate for new tools that you incorporate in your business. So.
Okay, cool. So somebody was asking a question. They were asking, how do you integrate with AppFolio since they don't have an API? So.
Yeah, so we use a Chrome extension, a browser extension.
Oh, cool, clever.
Yeah, so we can, so that allows people to create screenings directly from their browser, no matter what website you're in. And yeah, so like really, they're still using AppFolio, they're still using the tools that they love, but they can access our income screenings through a Chrome extension or browser extension, or
yeah, clever. Okay, cool. That is a clever solution to that. All right, so cool. Well, if anybody has any other questions, reach out to Stephen at theclosingdocs.com. It's Stephen with a PH in the middle, right? Like
yes.
Stephen.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, STEPHEN and theclosingdocs.com. And I appreciate you coming on the DoorGrow show.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks for letting me on the show.
Yeah, you bet. All right, cool. So those of you that are watching, check out theclosingdocs.com. And if you are watching us for the first time, or maybe it's like, I don't know, the 50th time, be sure to like and subscribe if you're checking this out on YouTube, or leave us a comment on Facebook. I want to see people that are involved and see, who's interested in the show. I love seeing that feedback. And if you're on iTunes, do me a huge favor, leave us a review. I would appreciate it. We'd love some real feedback. So until next time, everybody, be sure to test out your website. You can do that at doorgrow.com/quiz. You can also go and check out if you're doing any sort of cold lead marketing, advertising, go to doorgrow.com/cold leads and go through that calculator. I want to give you a gift and show you some leaks in your business that you may not be seeing right now. And I would love to help you out. So reach out to us at DoorGrow. And until next time, to our mutual growth. Bye, everybody.